The next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it, starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Allie Porter and Elise Smith.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mastering AI Momentum, the show where we help 7 and 8-figure business owners identify bottlenecks and explore AI and how it can help to accelerate their results. My name is Elise Smith, your AI business strategist, and today's guest is someone who truly embodies the power of connection and creativity in scaling a business. Rachel Starr is a community coach, summit strategist, and Circle certified partner who helps visionary entrepreneurs build thriving online communities that don't just engage, they actually convert. With a background in corporate event and wedding planning and later branding and web design, Rachel has brought all that experience into a thriving business that empowers women founders through powerful private community ecosystems outside the noise of Facebook groups and Slack threads and everything else that's out there. So welcome, Rachel. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for that amazing introduction it was really lovely. Thank you.
Of course. And I do have to say, your website is stunning. I mean, I can really see you doing like Racheling it, I think is what you call it, right? I love it. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's our joke that I make things pretty and I Rachel them. So like I have teammates for some of my clients will send something over and be like, can you Rachel this? I'm like, yeah, no problem.
I love it. It's awesome. So then kind of tell us in your own words who you serve and how you serve them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I predominantly work with female entrepreneurs, typically small to mid-sized businesses, and I help them grow their business with community at heart. I'm a big proponent that no matter what you're launching, your next course, your next summit, that community should be a pillar in that plan. I really am a big believer that by building community, we're able to all grow just faster and smarter. I like not being the smartest person in the room. I like learning from others. And I really bring that to the table to teach people that community can be something that really works for them. And I don't mean community as in the old school Facebook groups. I mean true community where we're cheering each other on. We care about one another's businesses. We want to see each other succeed without all that noise that tends to happen on traditional social media.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And Circle is such an incredible platform for that. So I love the fact that you've chosen that one as kind of like your jumping off point. I have to ask, how did you get started in this business?
So for many years, I did branding and website design. And while I'm good at it, I don't love it. I really loved my clients and I wanted to actually just dig into their businesses more. And so I started to make that pivot a little over 2 years ago. I was introduced to Circle through a client and it just kind of struck me that I was like, this is what I've been yearning for. This is the piece that I keep saying's missing, that's really the secret sauce. And I kind of started small inside Circle. And then gradually, they've been so good to me there. I love being able to I put out education every month inside their community. I host my own podcast that's predominantly based around, quick tips for Circle communities. And I just dove headfirst in to 100% working with Circle community builders. For me, it's easier that I literally know that platform backwards and forwards. I know how to do nearly everything in it. I'm sure there's something I don't know how to do. That's why I say nearly. But when you're kind of like spreading yourself amongst several platforms, it can be more difficult to, learn it all really well. And so I'm definitely an expert in the circle space, and it's given me really great opportunities to not just financially really succeed and hit the goals and milestones I've been looking for, but also it's given me the autonomy to be able to give back and do some education, which I actually like fills my cup up, is to be able to do education and give back in those ways. And it's just been really well received. And I feel like I'm just at the cusp of, just starting in a lot of ways in the space. But yeah, it's been awesome.
That is so cool. Now, for people who are watching this and they don't know what Circle is, can you kind of give like a little elevator pitch on what that is?
Yeah, so Circle is a way to provide private community. And so you can either monetize that or not, but it basically is that vessel. And the cool thing about Circle is that they're becoming very all-in-one. You don't have to have a major tech stack any longer. Circle allows you to process membership payments. It has an email builder, and it just launched a website builder. The team and I won second place in their contest. We were pretty excited about it. They have AI agents, which we have really dug into and love in the community space of allowing AI to help us work smarter, not harder, and being able to utilize those to deliver content in a more streamlined way inside community and help with that overwhelm. You have the ability to host courses in there. You can obviously have community spaces where you can chat, membership directory. You kind of name it, the sky's the limit. And it just, again, it's all under one house. It really helps you in that tech stack arena. It's really great for small creators who are just starting out. There's a reasonably priced lower tier plan. I don't know the pricing, but especially if you're not trying to have that huge tech stack, you can get rolling for a relatively good price. But then all the way up to their Circle Plus account, where you can get a custom app that lives in the App Store. And we actually have done one app build with a client, and we'll have our own app in the App Store in October. So the Co-Creator Society is our second community that we are in the process of launching with a large summit in October. And we opted to go the Circle Plus route and go all in and do the app build. So yeah, they have a lot of options.
I love it. And especially because, like you said, Facebook groups are kind of just oversaturated, right? And I think people are looking for a break from social media. And so when they can go on to a different platform, it's almost refreshing, especially because you don't have to deal with all of the clutter of being on social media. So I love what you stand for. I love how you're helping women and empowering them, and just the way that you're bringing community into business, because sometimes, especially after COVID, I almost feel like we kind of just separated a little bit, and it really became more about competition over collaboration. And with your community, I can tell it's collaboration over competition. So beautiful things you're doing, my friend. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I fully believe in that we can do more together than on our own. And I think for a lot of women in particular, we're just kind of told to do these things solo, and there's no reason to. I know that I'm better with friends in the room, for sure. So yeah. And the other thing I really love about hosting private community, whether you use Circle or not, is that, all that the ads are gone and the notifications are truly what you want to hear. And like you said, I think people are really burnt out on social media in so many ways, or they are and they don't even know it. Like I watch people just like doom scrolling all the time, and I'm thinking, man, think what you can do at that time if you funneled it someplace different. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think that's another major selling point for me, was to get away from, just the constant on that you have with traditional social media.
Absolutely. So cool. I know I've been in part of different circle groups, and it's an incredible system. And that was gosh, I think a couple of years ago. So now to hear that they're doing website builders and all of that, it's just so neat. So let's shift gears a little bit. So let's talk about the road to scaling for your business. If you don't mind, and we're gonna kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and kind of understand your back end. So you mentioned that for a while your business felt like it was a little bit in stuck mode the first time that we talked. So can you walk us through that? Like, what did that plateau really look like for you?
Yeah, there was sort of a twofold plateau for me was that I should back up further. I was a single parent for 10 years. And in that time frame, I was raising two little people and doing it all alone, and I needed an income, right? And so there were definitely many projects that I would take on that necessarily I could do, but I didn't love. And I kind of kept doing that year after year because I had almost pigeonholed myself. Even when things in the business were becoming successful, it wasn't truly what I wanted to be doing with my time.
Mm.
And I started to make a change in like my mindset of what does my ideal day look like? What does my ideal income structure look like? All of those things. And I laid it out and then kind of worked backwards to get myself to where I wanted to be. And I started to really see a big pivot when I started to look outside of the bubble that I had kind of just been in and found heart centered projects that I really loved. I grew up with an uncle with Down syndrome. My son is on the spectrum. And I met a really wonderful attorney that does work with parents with IEPs. And it was just a natural fit for me to start working with her and her brand. And I was able to help her develop her brand. And I was able to help her develop her community and all of those things. And each step we kept building, the more fulfilled I became. And I was making money, more money than I had ever made before, but I was also really excited to get up and go to work every day because I was doing something I enjoyed. And that pivot kind of led me into another client in a similar space. And that client's who introduced me to circles. So then it was just kind of um, once I got my eyes on the insides of like really truly hosting private community, I thought, this is it for me. This is what I want to do. Now, how do I make a living doing this? And I've been really fortunate that I come at my own marketing and branding very authentically. I'm definitely a giver, and I like to put case studies out and education out. And I'm lucky that I get my clients that way. They see something I've done and that interests them, and then I kind of get the outreach. I'm also in a really luxury spot in my life now that I've built up such a great clientele that they refer me. I booked out well in advance, all wonderful things. But that being said, that's what led me to launch Co-Creator Society and do a large scale summit, was that I still have drive to do even more. And I think, that's sort of the next steps for us in the business, is to take it from, I have a team that assists me, but I really would like to have a large team. I want to have a team of women that I get to employ and give them a good living, and that they come to work excited like I do every day. And I want to be able to do that for others. So, yeah.
I love that. And I love that you had to find your passion in what you were doing. I mean, it's one thing to make money at a business because it kind of dropped into your lap, or that, it kind of just happened that way, right? But sometimes you have to kind of step back and say, why are we actually doing what we're doing? And do we really enjoy it as much as we used to, or just period? And then the fact that you were able to bring in those passion projects in there, that made all the difference in the world, it seems like, for you.
It really did. So it's very interesting. I grew up with my grandparents raising me with my mom, basically. I was really close with my grandparents, and my Uncle Daryl, he lived at home with us. And so, I mean, I really learned a different way of love and care because I grew up with an uncle that had so many additional needs that when my grandparents passed away, I definitely it was very difficult for me. Just personally, I really struggled with both of their deaths. They were very close to one another, and that was really hard for me. And when the first project sort of landed in my lap, it felt like this gift from them that I had a connection back to them. And that's definitely how I felt about when I started working with My Hana, which is the second community that is for caregivers of. So My Hana's community is that we predominantly help caregivers of those with people managing the care for their loved one with Down syndrome or autism. And it was just like meant to be when that project like fell in my lap in a lot of ways. And it's funny how you find your path. I went from like very heavy in the wedding industry because my aesthetic and brand lends itself there. And I, did corporate event planning and wedding planning for many years. But it was really fun to get out of that bubble, because that's where I really found true success, is when I came back to the thing that I grew up with and I watched and I saw the compassion that's needed there. And private community gives you a space to like vent and find help. It's really isolating to be a caregiver. And it's really isolating to be a solo entrepreneur. So I think there's a lot of like, crossover there that happens. But you're absolutely right. It really took me to go, wait a minute, this is actually something that's been in your life your whole life, Rach. Like you need to run with that. So
yeah, I love that. So, we talked kind of on like the heart side of things, right? Let's talk about like the logical, was there any procedures or team changes that you needed to make to kind of get past that? Like, let's talk about the process side of that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're totally right. Honestly, the biggest thing I did was I hired a team. I was really afraid to hire a team, like so many people are, like, but it's really what was the catalyst for me to see true growth was that, you can't do everything. I literally just had a conversation with a very close friend in our mastermind just today, in regards to, it's wonderful to make money, but you're going to burn out. You're going to plateau. Like all those nasty things happen to you if you don't have support. And when I hired a team and I started small. I started with someone that was like 5 hours a week, really just doing some like virtual assistant work for me. And now I have 4 people who work for me. No one's full-time. Everyone is fractional, but I still have 4 folks, wonderful women that work for me, doing various roles. And it was also me letting go of the reins really helped me in the background. And that was hard for me. It was hard for me to trust in others that they were going to set up my newsletter properly or respond to people in the community properly or whatever it might be. And so I would say that definitely building the team was the biggest catalyst for me. I know one thing that like sets me apart is that I am very structured in how I work. It wasn't a change for me, but it is the thing that's allowed me to continue to grow, is how I work, how I time block, how I set up my day, how I structure everything that I do. People make fun of me a little bit about it, but then once they get in it, they're like, oh, that's probably what I should do too. But hiring a team was definitely that. And then having a process in place. Like you need to have a process in place once you hire a team. I did that well. I did manage to navigate that step well. But yeah, that would be 100%. I mean, truly the thing that put me over and made it so I could be as successful as I am now.
Yeah, we're not meant to do it alone, right? I mean, even if you have a team and you still feel like you need to expand, like sometimes we just have to take that leap of faith and just say, okay, this is what my business needs right now. This is an investment in my business. And, I'm Christian, so I kind of feel like God always provides, right? But regardless of what you believe, that those things will come, like the universe or however you want to look at it will provide as you're taking the steps that are actually needed. And if we stay in that fear space, we stay small, right?
You're totally right. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, full disclosure, when we decided that we were going to do Co-Creator Society and do the app build, I was given a very nice discount, but it's still $20,000 a year. And I had to cut the first check in that last week on Friday. And it's a scary moment to invest in something that's not proven yet, but you have to go with your gut and you have to make big moves sometimes. I've made big moves twice, and both have really panned out well for me. And I'm really hopeful this third one will too. But if you think small, you'll stay small. And that's and for some, that's all they need, right? For some people, they're totally happy and that's their happy place. It's just not quite mine. Like, I just have this calling inside me. I don't want to be like some viral-y person. That's like not, I'm very introverted, actually, like an extrovert when I have to be. But I do want to be able to help more people. And the way to do that is to grow, right? That's the only way to really be able to say, yeah, I made change, or I caused transformation. And that's really important for me too.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So thank you for just kind of sharing some of that back end struggle, because we all, I mean, business is so up and down. We have struggles all the time. And I think sometimes we put on this, veneer of everything is wonderful and shiny. And it's nice to know that other entrepreneurs and other business owners kind of struggle with even that first hiring decision. So, so I appreciate your vulnerability there. So let's move into, of course, AI, since we want to talk about that as well. So one of the reasons why I was excited to have you on is that you're not just curious about AI. It seems like you're already implementing it in smart ways. So tell us about like the matchmaking beta thing, if we can talk about that, or that you're doing in Circle, and just how you're weaving AI into your communities where you still have the heart that's there, but you're utilizing AI at the same time.
Yeah. So I am a nerd. So I was really excited as AI came onto the scene, and kind of was blowing up, of ways that we could integrate it, but still have the human touch inside of our communities. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of ways we're using it. One will be first in the Maihana community. We've built out a disability plan. They're called AI agents inside of Circle, but they're basically bots in a lot of ways. So basically, we've built out disability planning resources by state, and we've structured that AI agent to be able to help someone who is desperate to figure out what waivers they have access to, what they should do next in the process of helping their child, get a speech waiver, whatever it might be. But we've built an AI agent that allows them to ask questions and get direct links and get information quickly. And I think that is the key component when I look at AI, is that I can get things done faster, which gives me more time to do the other things that are important. Inside of my own community, I have two communities. So the first one's the co-op, and the co-op is actually a community for circle builders that are DIYing. And it's my playground. So I'm really fortunate, and I get included in most all the betas at Circle. And so we get to play with stuff first, and we get to play around with things early. And we've got to do that with the AI agents. And one of the cool things we've done over there is we've actually fed our entire podcast all the transcripts into it. And so now they basically have their own little strategist in their pocket that they can ask questions whenever they want. The cool thing too is that it's set up that it'll pause if we don't give a good answer, if they need help, and a human steps in and then answers their question. And I like that balance that we can do. Now, in Co-Creator, we're doing a matching system, and this hasn't actually released, and Circle hasn't even fleshed out the entire how it's going to work. But the gist of it is that with AI, we'll be able to match creators up. So we'll have a creator that maybe is looking for someone to set up their entire email marketing campaigns for them. And we'll have these rock star options for them. And because we'll use the matchmaking system in with the AI agent, we'll be able to get them in contact with one another very quickly. So less of that going to Upwork and trying to find the person, getting spammed when you put something on LinkedIn of hey, I'm looking for help with this. And you get 45 people and suddenly everyone's inboxing you or emailing you or whatever it might be. And it's just going to be it's just going to change the dynamic of getting hired if you're a creative. I truly believe. And I'm just very, very excited for it. The other cool thing that Circle has to offer, I sound like a Circle infomercial here, I'm sorry, but the other
Okay. We can feel your passion, and it's a neat tool, so why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The other really cool thing is they've just launched, we got to be part of the new component, but they have automated workflows using AI. And so now it will really help you with moderation. It will help you just answer questions quicker if someone's asking something and not someone's unavailable. It does a couple things. So there was some pushback at first of like, oh, it's eliminating, community managers, you needing them. It's not true in the least bit. It makes their job easier, that those things they answer over and over and over every day, now the agent can assist them and be like a buddy in the process. And it's really cool. We've been able to set up some cool workflows inside My HANA because people will sometimes share personal health information and we're HIPAA compliant there and we can't have that happen. So instead of us having to moderate every post, we've built an AI agent that doesn't flag their posts. It literally removes the PHI and leaves their post up. So, and at the same time, sends them a direct message to let them know why we did that. And it's really a fun way to use AI. I guess maybe fun's not the best word, but it's a unique way to run the business smarter again and not have to work so hard from that moderation standpoint. But the capability, and then above and beyond that, I don't just use Circle's AI components. I've actually made a shift in how I teach and I do courses now. I build out custom AI agents for every workbook I do. So people get a workbook, but then they can work through it with their agent. So they can go through with their custom and ask questions, and I've fed it everything it needs, and it makes it so that they'll maybe actually complete the workbook. So it's more of an interactive workbook now. And boy, have those just like really taken off. And so I actually, when I do coursework, we're getting ready to do a whole series on the podcast about how to do courses in 2025. And it's a big one we're talking about is, people aren't downloading PDFs and printing that stuff out anymore. Most people don't even have a printer at home. Maybe they'll do something with an iPad and a pencil, but an interactive type workbook, using AI, brilliant, right? To like actually get completion. So we're kind of using it in a lot of ways, to be honest, inside the community.
That is so cool. And we actually do the same. I mean, we build out AI agents on our side since we're an AI agency, but we actually just got started working with coach clients that are making their courses more interactive. And it is amazing what you can do. Like you can have a whole avatar be set up that it looks like you or it doesn't have to look like you, and it can teach the whole course. Like no more recording courses, which took forever coming from a coaching background. And then making those workbooks and just even like tests that you can give them and assessments. I mean, it's just so much more valuable than it was before. And especially because in the course world, seems like things kind of just ran their course for a little bit, right? I mean, everybody was doing courses. You could do a course on anything you wanted to, and they kind of lost their charm, and it just became a cheap thing that people were trying to sell, and it really didn't sell very well. But now you have this advantage of being able to add AI to it, and your person, your student, for lack of a better word, or your client, is going to get so much more out of it. So yes, I love what you're doing with AI and how you're not just using it for automation's sake, but really actually enhancing that human connection and giving them so much more than they had before. So you go, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. And I 100% agree with you. Courses have dramatically shifted in the past 5 years in particular. We aren't sitting down and recording hour-long webinars anymore. That's dead. People are not recording them. They're not consuming them. We want fast, interactive content, and we want to learn. But we are all learning differently. And the way courses are structured or how learning design happens is an intricate part in getting people to actually buy your course. There's so many courses out there. You can learn so many different things, but when you have that extra piece where you're actually doing something, it drives people to continue to show up. And we've been able to find a nice way to mix both the community aspect to get people to do things with us on how we put out courses, how they consume them, and then how they interact with them. And we have AI sort of weaved in every aspect of that.
Beautiful. What a perfect example of finding that heart and, brain all at the same time, right? Like, we have been given these amazing tools to help us be more effective and efficient, and yet there is still the heart aspect that we should never lose. So I think you do that beautifully. Well, Rachel, this has been such a powerful conversation. Thank you so much for just sharing what you're doing and all the fun and exciting things. I know so many of our listeners are thinking differently about their communities now and what's possible, especially with AI and, of course, Circle. If you want to learn more, we'll have a link down below. But if someone wants to connect with you personally, or have your help with like their next summit or learn more about yours, what's the best place for them to go?
I would say find me over on LinkedIn, or you can find me on my website, which is rachelbusinesscoach.com. So either one are fine. I'm most active on LinkedIn when it comes to social media, but website's great. And you can always just drop in the contact form and shoot me an email there.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. Definitely connect with her because she's incredible, as you can tell from this interview here. And you're just getting a tiny little piece of what's possible and what's coming up for her and her company. So we're really excited for you, Rachel.
Thank you so much. This is very generous. Thank you.
Of course. So we'll drop all those links in the show notes down below. And to all of you tuning in, if you're scaling and stuck, just like Rachel was describing, there's different things that you can do, right? You want to think about it from a heart perspective, but also a mind perspective. And sometimes that next breakthrough isn't a bigger team, or maybe it is. And sometimes it's really looking into what AI can do for you. So if you are interested, we definitely encourage you to check out m2aiagency.com to learn more. And we can even give you a free AI growth session to be able to figure out where you might be stuck in your business and how AI can help you get unstuck. So thanks, guys, for joining us today on Mastering AI Momentum. And until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and keep the momentum going. Thanks so much for being here, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Ali and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe, because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.